My family went camping at the start of summer. Just one night. That's all it was supposed to be. We arrived early in the morning, deep in the woods. As we unloaded the car, I felt like we weren't alone. I looked toward the trees and saw something standing far between them. It was tall and it was still, but I knew for a fact it was watching. For a second I thought it looked like a goat standing upright, but when I pointed it out and my parents turned to look, there was nothing there. Later, my brother and I went to collect sticks for the fire, and that's when he screamed. He ran to me and said that he had seen a man with a goat's head staring at him from behind a tree. I was feeling nervous, but as he's my younger brother, I decided to try and deter him from this situation. That night, as we sat around the fire, I heard it. There was breathing. It was slow and heavy, and it was too close. Thinking it might have been me, I held my breath, but the sound did not stop. My parents had shouted to knock it off. When it was a bit later in the night, my brother crawled into my tent. He was shaking. He told me that something had been standing outside his tent, just watching him. Then we heard something. It was scratching. Fingers were being dragged slowly across the fabric. And then the breathing was right outside the tent. After a while, the sounds had stopped. We were too on edge to sleep, so we kinda took it in turns between us to sleep. Once morning had come, we checked outside, and one of the tents was gone. It wasn't torn, it wasn't damaged, it was just gone. Looking at the concerned look on my parents' faces, they all agreed that we need to pack up and leave immediately. We pulled away, and I couldn't help but look outside the window, behind into the woods. And there it was, the figure that I had saw on the first day, watching us leave. Things didn't feel right when we got home. Our indoor lighting began to flicker on and off. Doors were opening by themselves, and we also heard footsteps pacing upstairs while all of us sat in the living room. Every now and again, we would hear that breathing again. Whilst we were all at the dinner table looking at each other, trying to figure out what was going on, all of a sudden, the power had gone out. My dad grabbed a flashlight and went upstairs to investigate. My mum followed him. After waiting for what felt like an hour, our parents never came back down. My brother and I decided to go upstairs, and here's where things got really weird. Our bathroom sink was running, overflowing into the floor, and there were dark handprints stained on the walls. On the mirror, something had appeared to have been scratched into the glass, and it read,
"I followed you home."
My brother and I checked out the rest of the upstairs, and we couldn't find our parents at all. We then thought to come downstairs just in case we may have missed them, but we would have passed them if that was the case. But nonetheless, as they weren't upstairs, The only logical thing we could do was go downstairs. We entered the living room, but then we stopped in our tracks. That's when we saw something was sitting on the sofa. It appeared to be tall, hunched, and its legs appears as if they have been bent the wrong way. Its head looked like a goat's skull stretched over a human face. It had black eyes and a wide, wet smile. As it began to stood up, my brother shook me out of my frozen state, and we ran out of there. We had called the police, and they came to our house to then investigate. They never were able to find our parents, and before they left, one officer in particular came up to us, asking to see the camping photos. And every picture appeared to have the same thing in it. Each time you'd look closely in the background, you can see this thing getting closer each time. The officer then asked us if he can hold on to these photos to aid them in their investigation. We agreed, and then the officer then suggested that he can drive us over to family if there's any nearby. We explained that we have an aunt and uncle living about an hour away, and he gladly took us to see them. Since moving in with my aunt and uncle, we've not ever been able to trace the whereabouts of my parents. We don't even camp anymore. We don't even like trees. Last night, however, I woke up to the sound of breathing beside my bed. And when I looked around, there was no one there. But I noticed that my phone's screensaver was just about to flicker off. Assuming someone had been checking my phone, I opened it to check it. And inside my gallery, there was a new photo. The photo was of me, asleep, and in the dark reflection of the window behind me, something was smiling. If you are based in the UK and would like to enjoy freshly batch roasted coffee delivered to your door, visit vitalcoffee.co.uk and use the coupon code mrfreakystory to get 10% off from all products. I will leave a link in the description below.